Where do you cross the line from pretty nice to way over the top? Hey everybody, it's Wednesday. That's a hard question. It's one we're going to talk about at Bible study, 7 p.m. We are in person in the fellowship hall because, hey, it's fixed. And online via Zoom, all the information how to do that in the description of the video right here. And tonight we are in Mark 14, and there's a lot here that I don't have time to preview or anything, but the one story that sticks out every time I read this begins in verse 3, and it's the story in the house of Simon the leper, and Jesus is gathering. This is the last few days before his crucifixion, and the woman comes in and breaks the alabaster flask of incredibly expensive ointment and anoints his head. And we have some ideas who this is, and it doesn't matter right now. We'll talk about that later. But in any case, the question is, should she have done that? Should she have done that, or should she have taken the flask and sold it? They say it's worth 300 denarii, which is most of a year's wages for an agricultural worker, right? Sold that for 300 denarii and given the money to the poor. And Jesus rebukes them and tells them that she's done a beautiful thing and that wherever the gospel is proclaimed, this will be remembered, partly because there are always opportunities to help the poor, and anyone can go and help as much as they want, but he is only with them for a short time. Now, that doesn't really answer the question, does it? Was what she did too much? Was it over the top? And I think that the reason he doesn't answer it is because whatever she should have done, whether this was logically over the top and a ridiculous act, it was done out of love and out of faith. And just as importantly, by the time anyone notices it, it's already done. So what are you going to do? Shame her? Her act of devotion and worship? Jesus says no. But this is a question that anybody has to ask when you're thinking about something like, oh, I don't know, church buildings. When is too much too much? Like, you want to have a decent space for public worship that stays warm and dry and all those practical considerations. But I think most people agree that you also want it to honor God. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It goes anything from plain austere buildings to ridiculous golden-crusted palaces. And is there a line in there where too much becomes too much? Well, yeah, I think so. But that line has a lot more to do with the heart who created whatever it is than it does with a certain amount of fanciness in the building. But that's something to consider. And we're going to talk about that and more tonight, the Last Supper, a whole bunch of stuff.